Well, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I haven't put a video on here for quite some time. The reason being is I've been working on things on the airplane, but they haven't been like put together projects that are really worth going through and showing you. So I decided I was going to go ahead and do an all-around catch-up and let you guys catch up on where we're at and what's going on. And so we'll go ahead and do that. So here is the airplane. There's our hydraulic pump for our landing gear. And we were having problems with it before. Wouldn't take them all the way up, but it put it down really good. So we did some testing and some research, and we ended up flipping the hydraulic lines. And it actually works perfectly now. So the 2,500 to 3,000 pound side of the pump actually is used to lift the landing gear, and the 500 pound side of the pump is used to put it down. And once we switch that around, it works perfect. So we've cycled that up and down a few times, and it's good to go. Also in this area, we're actually going to bring our oil cooler to right here. We're going to have our NACA vent hole come through here, through the oil cooler, make this turn, and then part of it will come in for the defrost and the heater, or we can also baffle it and it'll run it down into this chamber and send it out the back. So during the summertime we can still run air through the oil cooler, but it won't be bringing hot air into the cabin where we don't want it. Then on this other side we're going to put a matching NACA vent here in the nose cone that will be our cool air, so we can open and close that and let it in. And then so here we are on this. We've been working on these. So I've got these NACAs cut in here. We're actually going to use this part here as a flap so it can close. Then we'll have a lever that can lift it up and, open, go down, and have a lever lift it up and close it. We're going to put a little lip around so it'll seal off. And then those can be either in the open or the closed position. So we're working on those. The next thing we've got done, we got these light nose, I don't know what you call them, in front of the landing gear built, and we've got the plastic acrylic cut to go over and cover them up. We've got two lights in there, one for landing light and one for a taxi light. One kind of aims up, one kind of aims down, and so we've got those done on both sides, ready to go. We just need to wire them up and then get the lens on. So there, we've been working on that. I've been working on body work. Doesn't look perfect because I haven't got it primed, but it's actually pretty flat. I've got this side here pretty much done. It was terrible to start with, these two front areas where he added this change and widened the fuselage for water issues. But that's done. Let's see. What else we've done, it might be kind of hard to see. But we've got the fuel system in, so we've got the top two left and right tank out through the fuel selector switch, which is right there, left and right fuel selector switch, and then it goes through the fuel pump, and then through the gascolator, and then through the fuel pump and back into the engine compartment. The lower one is also done. I'm not sure we can see it, but basically there's the fuel pump there. It comes out of the two tanks. They tee together into the fuel pump. And then that fuel pump actually pumps the fuel up through this tube here and dumps it into the tank. So we're actually just going to use a transfer pump on that one to bring the lower two tanks up and dump them into the upper two tanks. The lower two tanks have manual fuel gauges right there. And the upper two tanks have the senders in them right there, and they'll come up to a gauge on the dashboard. So we've got that done. I've been working on a lot of body work here. I've got most of it roughed in and really close. One more little touch up and some sanding and we'll be ready to prime. Got these little winglet metals built. So we've got them hanging down a little bit on the bottom up here, and then we put a tail on them to kind of match the tail of the airplane. On both of those, we've got our wiring out here for our lights. Like I say, I've been doing a lot of body work, and so I have These looking pretty good now. Got a little bit of work to do through here. The upper one's pretty much done. Just need to get some primer on it. Start doing some fill and sand work. I do need to coat around that that one more time with another layer of lightweight body filler. And then we got our engine mounts done, all built and ready to go. We've had the engine block sitting in here, but both of those are in and done. We built this engine mount in the rear, right there. Here it is from the front. We've got it all mounted in, lapped over and tied on here. Like 5 layers here, 5 layers here, also on the inside. A bunch of uni going across this way. So anyway, that's all done, ready to go. We've been doing body work back here, on the tail, on these areas here. We've got most of it done now where it's almost ready to put a primer on it, which will kind of highlight out where all of our little imperfections are, and then we can fill and sand from there. We've got the elevator done, ready to go in. We are running into a problem. Maybe if you guys have some information, some knowledge on this, you can help me because it doesn't cover it in our instructions. We've been trying to balance the elevator, and if we balance it on our pivots right here on each end, we can't actually get enough weight added to that. This is our stabilizer weight, and it hooks on right here like this. And then it actually goes through a hole right there and up into the tail. But we can't get enough lead on it that will still allow it to fit through this hole for it to balance as far as we're understanding. So is it supposed to just sit perfectly level like I understand, or anyway, some information on that would be helpful. Coming around the plane, you can see we got all of the hydraulic lines in. All the brake lines are ran. We've got all of the wires coming across here. We've got these bat wings built that fit right here, and the back part of the landing gear cover. We haven't put them on because it's easier for us to be able to stand up and get right in this area to put the engine in. So we're waiting until we get the engine on to actually install those. But they are done. They're right here. This is one side. We put an access panel in it right there so we can access stuff, maybe add autopilot in the future, access some linkages. Here's one from the bottom. So this is our part here that's built. The landing gear comes up into there, fits right along here. The tire will sit right in there when it's in the up position. Anyway, there's them. They are done. So the other thing we're working on, which is the major project, is this right here. This is our Lycoming 320. It's been hot tanked, cleaned up, and checked for cracks, and everything's good to go on it. We have all of our cylinders are at the machine shop, getting new exhaust valves, all new guides, getting the rest of the valve work done. All of our rods, connecting rods, have been checked out and reconditioned. They're ready to go. We had to get a new camshaft. It had a flat spot on it, so I actually sent it away to Oklahoma, and they told me that the one we have is actually good to go. So they're putting a $180 cam grind on it and sending it back to us. And I had to take the lifters up now since we're getting a new camshaft and have them grind all of the lifters. They're up at the machine shop also, getting done. Supposed to have that stuff back in the next few days. And then I have all of the new parts for this, the piston rings, the gasket set. We got new piston rod end caps. We got new exhaust valve caps. We got all of the stuff that they recommended. So that's ready to go. We should be putting it together within a few days, which will be nice. We can get that together, and then once it's sitting up there, then we can start get the bat wings in and get the rest of the fiberglass, because we have some fiberglass work to do in here once we get those on. We have to put a radius fillet down all of these and up under all of these, but they need to come across the bat wing, so we haven't been able to do that. So once we get the engine up, we can finish this last little bit of major fiberglass, and then it will just be down to bodywork and touch-ups after that as far as the fiberglass goes. I've been ordering tons and tons of miscellaneous parts. So we actually picked up a 2-lever throttle. Going to be mounted right over there. One for the enrichment, one for the throttle. We bought a kit from Dynon. This is basically what I don't know where it went. That's the planner. We had it somewhere. Anyway, basically we're putting the 10-inch Dynon, there it is, putting the 10-inch Dynon like this in the middle of the dash. We didn't order the Dynon, but I ordered all of the wiring harnesses, the engine sensors, the engine sensor kit, all of that stuff. We're going to get all the wiring and everything in and ready to go. And so that'll be a fun and exciting project. We're needing a battery. If people have recommendations for a inexpensive battery, that would be amazing as well. And then, well, we haven't put the fluid in and bled out the brakes because we need to put in an emergency brake, which we're going to put right here. But it hadn't come in at that point in time. We actually have it now. So we're going to get that in and ready to go. So anyway, it's coming along. Oh, here's one more thing we got done. We got this built. So this is you can see it function right here. That'll open the canopy, and then that'll lock the canopy shut. So we got that put in. It'll have a lever that comes off of here, goes over through the dashboard. You push pull from over here to open and to lock and unlock the canopy. So we got that done. And I showed you before, but we got the dash all built, so it's right there ready to go. Just needs to be holes cut in it and then painted. So anyway, it's coming along. A little slower than you hope, but run into some things along the way that, we didn't count on, especially with the engine. A few things kind of delayed us and held us up in there. We are actually decided to go with the Dynon angle of attack pitot tube. So we're going to have to eliminate that one that is installed there. And we need to install our new one right here. So it'll just be a little bit in front of where that one was. But that way we can run the pitot tubes down that center channel and back behind the seat where our AHRs will sit. If we leave it up here where it is, where these are coming through, then the tubes would actually have to come and go down this channel like this, up over here, and then have a flex unit over and down. So we would rather just put them in solid and not have to have them flex. So actually it'll come down in here somewhere, and then they'll run and down that main tube. So it'll be a little bit easier to get those lines back there. Anyway, that's where we're at. Getting exciting, hoping to get there one of these days. We picked up some primer. In the next little bit we'll get a few bodywork things fixed, get some primer on the areas that are done so that I can start doing some final bodywork there, and then we'll have that whole center section to do once we get the bat wings and the other upper wing extensions on. Anyway, that's where we're at. So we'll keep at it. Go ahead and like my video and subscribe if you haven't. Love to have you follow along. We're also looking for any input and advice you may have. There it is. Back at it. Chat to you next time.